Hey everyone, welcome to the ADW Profile Podcast. ADW for
A deeper way.
a deeper way. Today we're talking about an aspect that's part of my favorite family.
Yes.
I shouldn't probably say that. You hate to have favorites.
And yet.
And yet. That's one of my favorite
we all?
transitional phrases.
They have increased proclivity toward this family.
Yeah.
What's so helpful?
The aspect is values certainty.
Values
certainty.
certainty.
Tim, what do we need to know about values certainty?
Values certainty. The aspect code is 7.57 for the family it belongs to, which is psychological values.
There they are.
Psychological values. They sit at level 3 of the identity model. So we're a little bit deeper. So think more kind of internal self stuff.
Yeah.
Value certainty 7.5. Far to the right means you value certainty and you have a psychological need to have it.
That's the key word, need.
Psychological need to feel you have it, right? Far to the left side of 7.5 is accepts ambiguity. Accepts ambiguity. Ambiguity is the opposite of certainty, right? Or yes, so accepts ambiguity far to the left. Again, same principle, even at level 3. A lot of wonderful things that come out of both sides, a lot of helpful things that come out of both sides. We have access to all behaviors on all sides, right? So people who accept ambiguity can work toward certainty. Far to the left accepts ambiguity, far to the right values certainty. It's part of the concrete thinking vector in the PsyPlex. So the PsyPlex, one of the questions, how do people think about things? Far to the right side values certainty actually loads onto the concrete thinking vector, concrete thinking.
Which I think brings us to, let's always start by recognizing what are the sort of effective, as I like to say, manifestations of these two sides of this deeper aspect. So value certainty, how's that helpful?
Very helpful in creating a structure where people can know what's happening next.
Yeah.
On the psychological need level, folks who are high on this are working toward creating an environment. We call it a socio-circumstantial environment, meaning the people, the things that are going on, the stuff we're doing, creating that environment that we know what's happening next.
Well, and so, if you again kind of put it in that leadership context, if you happen to be a leader high on value certainty, you probably are a little bit more likely to provide that for the people on your team, or work to provide it for the people on your team. So if you have people on your team who are also high on that, you're probably going to be able to meet that need, perhaps a little bit more regularly than those who might be on the other side.
You're going to be doing it unconsciously.
That's the thing. I'm glad you said that word, because we're operating here. We're down to level 3, and these psychological values so often are operating on an unconscious, or at least sort of just beneath that conscious awareness, until they're not, which is the whole point of self-awareness: bring the unconscious to the conscious. So these are really often impacting our behavior and we don't even realize it.
Recognize for me all the wonderful things that come out of the left side.
Well, now you're playing to my bias.
did that on purpose.
We're both lean on this one. I'm 99th percentile on accepts ambiguity. And well, before I get too far in the weeds, it again, though, even reflecting on my own self, it highlights how all behaviors, all spots along a continuum of an aspect are available to all of us, right? Because I can certainly work toward certainty and cultivating certainty when I know it's necessary. And that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the recognizing what are the effective elements of that accepts ambiguity side. I think there is a sort of a, more of a go with the flow type of, we don't necessarily know what's going to happen tomorrow, and that's okay. And so there probably isn't a lot of mental energy put toward that knowing exactly what the future looks like.
Right.
And which,
might even get a little bit of energy from.
Well, and I think
a little exciting.
Certainly for me, most of the time, not 100% of the time, but I think we want to come back to, particularly for these values, what they're really getting at. That purpose of these is, what am I looking for? What am I trying to get from my environment, from my relationships, from anything that's going to help me feel grounded, that's going to help me feel a little bit more secure. And so if you are high on accepts ambiguity, what that inherently means is you aren't necessarily looking for a lot of certainty as a source of groundedness. And so
you
it
get
doesn't
it elsewhere.
It's not to say that certainty isn't important to you.
Right.
We call it value certainty, but it's really needs certainty.
So you had mentioned this word reveal, and that we're on level 3. This is operating at level 3.
So, the word reveal, we think of showing. And I think, when we hear that, I think the first implication is always reveal to others. And of course, that can be a very important element. But first, we have to reveal it to ourselves, right?
Yes.
And that's part of bringing that unconscious to the conscious. Like, oh, turns out maybe I do have a high need for certainty, or maybe I don't. Like, wherever you may or may not be on this particular aspect. And I think it's helpful here to talk about, if we do have that high need, that high value of certainty, and we aren't feeling like we're getting it, because that's the thing with these psychologists, they're totally a felt sense. Like, there is no, oh, this is what certainty is, and now I can check that off. No, you know it in your body. That's how you know it. And if I'm feeling like I'm not getting it, I'm likely to, be a little bit unsettled, a little bit ungrounded, a little maybe insecure, not at my best. And if I don't have the awareness that that's what's going on, it can amplify that sense.
Right?
But when we reveal to ourselves, oh, I need certainty and I'm not getting it.
Yes.
That's what's going on here.
That's why these psychological values are so fun to use in the work, because you see these moments of revelation.
Right.
And it's self-revelation. And one of the things too about all of these psychological needs, they're self-defined.
Yeah.
So certainty, right? And you were talking about this, but the need for certainty is going to be understood and defined by the individual, not by the profile.
Right.
Right.
Or
so
anyone
the profile
else
knows you need this, but what does it look like for you? Right. And you might have a group of 10 people, and all of them might have a high need for certainty. And you're going to find, if you ask them, write down for a minute what comes up for you when you think of certainty, you're going to get 10 different sheets.
Yep.
And that's the magic of it, because what we're helping people do in this moment is reconnect to their idea of what certainty is. And it gives them a revelation about why they've been seeking after things they've been seeking after.
Right.
Right. It helps them understand a little bit of their own personal why.
Yeah.
In a really great way.
And I think, so we've been focusing on the right side of this aspect, which is needing that certainty and sort of that revealing of that. The left side of this aspect is accepts ambiguity.
Right.
So one thing inherent is in that would be then, sure, this person is probably someone who doesn't rely on or look for certainty in order to feel grounded. What's always interesting, though, about sort of I'll just say for the sake of discussion, the opposite side of the value itself or the need itself is, what's it like? And I'm happy to speak for this for myself. What's it like for you when it feels like, or maybe it is the case, that someone is trying to get certainty from you? They're trying to get their need for certainty for you to provide it to them. That can be, well, we'll say this, that can be a triggering experience in itself, right?
For the person who's far to the left, to be asked to do the thing far to the right.
Right.
And your point, we can do the thing far to the right, but when we're further away from it, it takes a lot more thought and energy and intent. And
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I was just going to say, if we're not to that, revealing spot yet, what we're probably going to do is start to tell ourselves stories about that person who's trying to get the certainty from me. Right. Which, all kinds of things, what's wrong with you? This is ridiculous. This doesn't exist.
Right.
You just need to relax, all those things. When in fact, if we can get to the reveal
ourselves,
which is to realize, oh, I don't need that. And they do. And that doesn't make one or the other better or worse. It's just that's where we are. So
in level 3, others awareness is valuing difference.
Yeah.
They need something different than I do.
Right.
And I'm going to value the fact that they're bringing something different to the table. And I think it, like you said, if we aren't ourselves at level 3 self-awareness, right, which is really connected to myself and understanding where things come from, right, how I see myself. If I'm not there, I can't be there toward others.
Right.
And these psychological values, when we're asked to provide the thing that we don't need ourselves, as you said, and we're not at level 3 yet or aren't aware there, we fill the gap in then with our own story about the other person.
And when we can get to that level 3 of self-awareness of how I'm same or different on this particular aspect, particularly the values, we can actually start to reframe it from how annoying to, hey, how cool. You need this. I have no idea what that would look like.
Yeah.
Help me understand how I could do that for you. This is a foreign concept to me. What do we need?
It speaks to the beauty of our humanity, that we are reliant on other humans.
Yeah.
Right. And we get to be relied upon, and we get to rely on.
Yeah.
And when we're at level 3, it's a gift.
It truly is. It truly is. I think we've explored values, certainty, psychological value, need, recognize, reveal. We'll keep going on these, but in the meantime, get that self-awareness.
Be curious.